It's Friday, 5:30 p.m. here in Singapore, and you're watching The Big Story, where we will discuss the hottest topics of the day and explain why it matters. I'm Haryanto Diman, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. A race against time as the Australian Navy is scrambling to rescue thousands of people stranded on the east coast in one of the country's most devastating bushfire seasons yet. Australia is bracing for a weekend heatwave expected to fan deadly fires across the states of Victoria and New South Wales. At least 18 people are known to have died, while the blazes have destroyed more than 1,300 homes and scorched over 5.5 million hectares across the country. To discuss further on this issue, we have climate change editor David Fogarty. Welcome, David. Now, David, if you could share with us first, how bad is the situation now in Australia? Why haven't they been able to control the fire?
So the situation at the moment is, certainly for New South Wales, it's unprecedented. The fires started particularly early, and they burned, certainly in New South Wales, something like 4 million hectares, which is almost the size of Holland, if you like. Yeah. The fires were threatening Sydney. Those fires are still burning, but they're not quite as bad. The real problem now is the south coast area and inland in the alpine region of New South Wales, where there are severe fires burning, and those are expected to literally, if you look at the forecast map, to rapidly spread tomorrow under high wind and very hot conditions. Leading to some evacuations of towns. It's a similar situation in eastern Victoria. Why these fires can't be controlled? They're just simply too large and they're moving far too quickly. There's been a drought of lasted at least 2 years. That's made conditions extremely flammable. And the traditional, the Australian bush, it does burn. I mean, it's evolved to take fire. But the problem is that the conditions that are driving these fires, of particularly high temperatures, extremely dry conditions, very low humidity, just leads to basically an explosive fire. Some of these flames have been going up to 70 meters high or more. It's just a wall of fire that just comes right at you. No amount of, high pressure hoses or aerial bombardment is going to stop a fire, particularly when it's some of these fires are now double or triple the size of Singapore and have fire fronts of 100 kilometers or more. They're just impossible.
Now, just to show how bad the fire is, even rescue workers are not spared. They are also risking their lives. Let's have a look at these images from the New South Wales Fire and Rescue Department Twitter page. Now, as you can see here, the rescue crew was en route to the fire scene when they got caught in the blaze and had to take shelter in their truck. Now, clearly, as you can see here, the fire is just blazing on and on. It's really bad. Now, this crisis here, as you mentioned, is unprecedented, and it has sparked street protests calling on the government to immediately act on climate change, which scientists are saying creating a longer and more intense bushfire season. David, if you could explain to us, does climate change really contribute to this?
Absolutely. So these fires can't be blamed 100% on climate change. As I said, fires have occurred naturally in Australia, particularly during the summer season, which is usually the main time. But what's happened this time around, basically, and has been, and not just this year, but certainly in the past decade, is that fire seasons have become longer. And in this case, certainly last year, it started much earlier than usual.
Yeah.
There's a very long drought, partly started by natural conditions, but also I think longer droughts, more intense droughts, is a climate change signal.
Yeah.
As is rising temperatures. Numerous heat records have been broken every year in the past 5 years, I think, in Australia. And now we have record temperatures, record low rainfall, very low humidity. These are all the sorts of things that scientists have long been warning will be the sort of conditions you expect as the planet heats up and as the weather changes. So basically the warnings from scientists have really finally come home to roost, and Australia is experiencing exactly what fire chiefs have been warning about for years, climate scientists have been warning for years. The complex computer models that climate scientists use have been pointing to these sorts of conditions.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, David, for coming on to the show to explain to us more on the bushfire crisis in Australia. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to those in Australia and affected by the wildfires. To read more on this issue, you can check it out on our website, straitstimes.com.